The Kane Chronicles should be animated. Unlike the Percy Jackson series, which is going to be live action. It needs to be animated. Let me explain. Alright, okay, people may be surprised because I've been really adamant that especially the Percy Jackson series should be live action, and admittedly there are a lot of people who want it to be animated, and I completely see why the Percy Jackson series could have worked as animated, but the Kane Chronicles specifically should be animated for many different reasons. First up, the timeline. 3 books over a single year period is going to be really difficult to work because you've got 3 different films taking place within that single year, and your actors are going to age out before you're able to kind of get through that year period. Films take a long time to produce, to film, to shoot, and to have all 3 films done very quickly isn't going to work out well, especially for the fact that kids are that age as well, with Carter being 15/16 and Sadie being 12/13. They're going to change drastically, even within a year's span time, which can be how long films can take to shoot, edit, and all these sort of things, and let alone writing the scripts, unless you have all 3 scripts written and you film all 3 films at the same time, which is a ridiculous amount of work and puts way more pressure on every member of the team, both creatively and in the acting aspect. Making it animated is going to make sure that that time constraint doesn't exist unless you have a change in the timeline itself to kind of allow for a longer time period, basically. Second, for the magic and all kind of everything that happens in the series itself, such as going into the duat, I don't know how to pronounce it, going into that, having that look live action, it's just not going to look right. But magic and things like that can really work well in animation and make it look and feel real. And there's a lot of things that CGI and special effects just can't make look real. Unlike with Percy Jackson, where special effects, while big in the series itself, well, the need for special effects is going to be big. In comparison to the Kane Chronicles, it's not going to be as prevalent. In the Kane Chronicles, everything is magic based. Everything is going to need special effects if it is in live action. But for animation, you have the ability to make things look magical and mystical and all these sort of things without having to worry about cost and believability and realism in the visuals. So having it animated, I think, is just going to work a lot better. And also, third, the amount of locations which feature in the series. It's going to be quite expensive as well, live action wise, to go to all of these places and taking the large casts which feature in the series, both in the first, second and third film. 3 films worth of multiple location uses on Netflix, probably with not the biggest budget, considering the Kane Chronicles itself isn't that big of a series. It's going to be really difficult to have that look good. Most of it may not even be able to be filmed on location, which can cause problems in and of itself, especially if you've got a low budget. We don't know what the budget's going to be like, but animation wise, look at Into the Spider-Verse. New York and Brooklyn and all these things that are Into the Spider-Verse, which obviously is a real place, feel and look real. And you can do a similar styling with the Kane Chronicles as well. Make it look magical, make it look real, have the locations in animation style still feel real, and have an extra grittiness, because the Kane Chronicles is kind of a dark series, considering magic and chaos are a big part of the series and all the things that go on in it. Having it animated and having the locations visually look darker and have this sort of eerie feel to their appearance, which you kind of can't really get that much in like actual location. Animation will be the best way to go to get that feel. And fourth and finally, because it is magic, animation is just going to work. We've seen what Studio Ghibli can do. We've seen all these different phenomenal animated films in different styles work a lot better considering the source material that they're working from. Into the Spider-Verse is based on a comic book, the Miles Morales Spider-Man comic book, and it has that comic book feel, and it's engaging. Studio Ghibli has lots of magic, it has lots of imagery and feeling to the actual visuals that we're seeing. My favourite animated film, Wolf Children, the amount of feeling you can get in animation through the visuals that you're showing, through the story that you're telling, even without having speaking scenes like that. The moment that we have Sadie listening to Adele and being angsty basically because Sadie's amazing, having that animated, I think is going to work so much better because you're just going to be able to show the emotional intensity of that scene, both through the music, the colouring, the animated visuals that you get in so many scenes, like in Wolf Children, like with Miles listening to his music whilst doing his art. The music in all of animated films is something that is incredibly powerful, and the visuals that go alongside it just adds to it. I think the Kane Chronicles is a series that visually and emotionally and musically needs to have that impact, and animation is the way to do that. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Kane Chronicles will work better as an animated film, or do you think live action is still the way to go for that series? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. In the description box, you'll find the links to all of my social media, my merchandise store, and my Patreon, where if you can support me, that is the place to do it. But if you can't support me on Patreon, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.